I think that if this KubeCon was in Miami, there will be a couple of thousand more people. Because I want to go to, or make it Mexico. Move KubeCon to Mexico. You will have more attendance for sure, because everybody wants a free vacation paid by their company in Cancun.
This is DevOps Paradox, episode number 325, KubeCon North America 2025 Review. Welcome to DevOps Paradox. This is a podcast about random stuff in which we, Darren and Victor, pretend we know what we're talking about. Most of the time, we mask our ignorance by putting the word DevOps everywhere we can and mix it with random buzzwords like Kubernetes, serverless, CI/CD, team productivity, islands of happiness, and other fancy expressions that make us sound like we know what we're doing. Occasionally, we invite guests who do know something, but we do not do that often since they might make us look incompetent. The truth is out there, and there is no way we are going to find it. P.S. It's Darren reading this text and feeling embarrassed that Victor made me do it. Here are your hosts, Darren Pope and Victor Farson.
Well, here we are. It is November of 2025. KubeCon US just finished up in beautiful, sunny, warm Atlanta, Georgia.
You know what you're doing there, right? Yeah.
I'm lying is what I'm doing, I believe, right? I believe that's the correct phrase. Victor's here. Whitney Lee is along with us, just like normal as we do these KubeCon reviews. It was not warm and comfortable and sunny in Atlanta. It was like real wintertime that normally happens in January.
Actually, it was warm and sunny. It's just that it didn't last long.
Yeah.
I arrived on Friday, so Friday afternoon and Saturday it was warm and sunny. I made a terrible mistake that I brought one of the two sweaters I have on that sunny day, and I wore it, and then I was desperate the rest of Atlanta. I had to take swags, which I never take, just to stay warm.
He was wearing branded gear.
I scavenged over there the ambassadors, whatever. Give me everything.
But the thing is, it was colder than it ever is in Atlanta, Georgia. Like, it was unseasonably cold.
It was unseasonably cold, yes. It's not as bad as it's been there before. I lived there. So I looked at it and saw it, and it's like, oh, okay, this, again, like I said, it's more January weather than November. But if you were to go back and take a look at the weather charts, there was this big polar semi-vortex that dropped down just over Tennessee into Atlanta. And then it was nice south of Atlanta.
What do you mean polar? You know how far is polar circle?
Look, live in the U.S. long enough, you'll learn polar vortexes are a thing.
Okay.
Victor might not have come had he known. So.
Well, it shouldn't have been that way. But, okay, so we'll get into the real stuff in a minute. How was it compared to Salt Lake last year? Was it as bad as Salt Lake? Weather-wise, yeah.
Salt Lake was okay. I mean, not Miami okay, but it wasn't terribly cold. It even snowed one day or something like that, and then it was still warmer than Atlanta.
Yeah, when it gets cold in Atlanta, it's bad. I was there in the Snowmageddon of 1993 because that's when my daughter was born. And we just had her a week before. We walked out, held her in the snow. We had 12 inches of snow on the ground. That doesn't happen
oh my
in
goodness.
The real problem, being cold when I'm in my hotel is perfectly fine because Uber comes directly to the entrance. I spent half a second between exiting the hotel and being in a car. Now, in the venue over there is quite some walk between the exit and Uber, and that was unacceptable. This is a message to CNCF folks, like if Uber cannot arrive to the entrance, I'm not coming, unless it's Miami or something like that.
Victor's a princess. Who knew?
Yeah. So
I think everybody does.
So what? Are you jealous? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah. You have a prettier tiara than I do.
Now, typically we record these on sort of the last day, but there was some scheduling conflicts and we had to skip over it. So we're actually recording this.
The scheduling conflict was that Victor had a hangover. I couldn't record. That's the scheduling conflict.
I was debating whether to call you out. I'm glad you called yourself out.
I wasn't going to call him out on it. I just wasn't. So anyway, we are actually recording this as I'm sitting right now. It's 11:50 Central Time on Monday the 17th, which means I'm going to be editing like a banshee to have it out for Wednesday, but that's okay. I have the time now, just in case anybody's wondering. Yes, I did get laid off, but let's not talk about that right now because that's a sore subject. How was KubeCon? There is one thing I want to bring up. So I will mention it now, but let's not talk about it. Ingress, NGINX. So just remember, we're going to get there.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
Let's not talk about that yet.
Yeah.
But ignoring that, how was everything? Was it well put on? I mean, normally it is, right? It's a nice large venue, so you're not fighting for space. I mean, how was the event itself?
It was well organized. You knew how to get from one place to another. It was really big. Like there were 2 different buildings, and if you had 2 different things to see in the 2 different buildings, it was a long, long walk. And I'll say too that all the sessions I gave and attended both, that none of them ever had a full room. And sometimes it was even less than 50%. Like in Europe, sometimes there could be lines, or definitely like every room is at least 75% full. It didn't feel like that. Overall, cavernous. Getting from place to place, cavernous in the rooms, big.
Whitney, since you've been doing more events stateside than Victor has, does that seem normal right now for US?
I don't think it's accurate to say I've done more events stateside Victor has.
Well, in the past year. Probably in the past year you have. Even if it's smaller events you've done.
In general, I think US events have died down and Europe events have picked up.
That's what I was trying to get to, because that's what I've been seeing from other places.
That's probably because you folks know something that we did not realize yet, whatever that something is. I mean, usually tech comes from US, now China as well. So kind of we need a couple of years to pick up. So if you're going down with CNCF, Kubernetes, cloud native type of events, that means that we just need to get the memo.
I talked to an organizer of a US event during KubeCon, and he was salty for sure. And he was saying the reason US events have slowed down is that Americans are too comfortable and they've gotten lazy. That's his take on it. What do you think about that?
I think that if this KubeCon was in Miami, there will be a couple of thousand more people. Because kind of, I want to go to, or make it Mexico. Move KubeCon to Mexico. You will have more attendance for sure, because everybody wants a free vacation paid by their company in Cancun.
Next year is Salt Lake City, but the year after is New Orleans.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Is that enough? Yeah?
Does that mean in 2 years we won't be recording this until we're actually releasing it, because he will be so hungover?
Because the bars don't close until 4 a.m. there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Whitney is a problematic one here, right? Because she actually does go to talks, right? And she has something to say about KubeCon. But I can record before the KubeCon, right? My story is going to be the same anyways.
Always the same. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll just get some sound bites from him, and you and I can do the live recording.
Right. How was the show floor this year?
Victor, you were on the show floor.
Yeah, I spent most of the time on the show floor. It was typical KubeCon. I mean, my only observation really is that I have impression, I cannot prove it with numbers, is that the number of exhibitors who are company behind CNCF projects is going down, right? I could hardly see actually, hey, companies behind CNCF projects. Companies using CNCF projects somehow, yeah, plenty, right? But I'm talking about companies that are formed on top of project, that
like
pays for maintenance.
For example?
Like Upbound, yeah. But there are others, but Nirmata, for example, yeah. Companies like that, I have impression that that's going down, which is a bit concerning for me.
Okay, let's step into it. So the big news that I saw, at least from afar, was Ingress NGINX they're classifying it as deprecated. Okay, great. No big deal, but being deprecated in 4 freaking months.
If you follow the NGINX, I mean, this was a long time coming. So I think that this is just acknowledgement of the reality, kind of, that exists for years now.
As far as I know, there are 2 people who maintain that project, and neither one of it does. They both do it as volunteers. Neither one is paid to do it. Yeah.
That's the big thing, right?
That's actually, I feel somehow related to what I was commenting before, right? If companies behind the projects that are trying to monetize on top of projects are going down, then paid maintainers who actually do keep those projects alive are going away, and projects are going to die slowly or fast, depending on the project, right? That's the danger.
I talked to one of the maintainers, and he said that 40% of Kubernetes clusters use Ingress NGINX worldwide. It's just a huge number.
Yeah.
But they don't have a clear path to Gateway API, and they're calling it.
F5. F5 is jumping in. I can tell you that right away. And I know how I know that? I got an email only 2 hours ago.
F5 is a company?
F5 is a company behind NGINX. So there is NGINX Ingress and Ingress NGINX.
Yes.
And nobody knows which one is which.
Why does F5 want to pay for Ingress NGINX, the one that's supported by CNCF?
Well, the question is really when they chose to work on open source version, why they didn't jump into, at that time, existing Kubernetes NGINX or whatever it's called. That's a real question. Somehow related with disappearance of companies. They probably could not do that while still maintaining business on top of it, right?
Yeah.
That's my wild guess.
But my understanding is even if a company jumps in to maintain it, it's still out of the CNCF now.
Yeah. I mean, and nobody's jumping to maintain it. I can tell you that in advance because there is only one company with interest, that's F5. And because there are other ingresses, but they are not NGINX based, right? And F5 has their own stuff going on. They have no interest in it.
I saw somebody from the company behind Traffic commenting about all of this. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's circle back to, you didn't see as many, I'm going to call them vendors on the show floor that are behind products.
As maintainers, yes. So there are plenty of companies that are behind products that simply use those projects without ever contributing to them. That, yes.
So if we have sort of this maintainer body count going down, what does that really mean for the ecosystem?
Slow and painful death. No. So this is all me throwing random theories here, right? I feel that we are going towards the world in which big corporations like Microsoft, AWS, Google, what's not, are the companies that can pay people to maintain those projects, which is fine, nothing against. That would mean that there is a limited number of projects that will survive, right? Because those must be the projects that they're directly really monetizing on. Kubernetes to begin with, right? Google is going to continue doing something with Istio because, it's part of their offering. But for everything else, it's going to be tough. If I'm right, and I might be wrong.
But it feels like you're close to right. That's the problem, though.
My theory is that simply the next round, none of those companies are profitable. Let's start with that, right? I mean, outside of AWS of the world, none of them are profitable. And my theory, and this is not hard to guess, is that none of them is getting next round of investment unless they say AI. And then everybody says AI, and then nobody gets investment.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is it because of, it's a two-part question. So first off, how much AI did you see, feel, hear? And secondly, is it because of the AI investment that we are, nobody's paying attention to the other stuff that's sort of the underpinnings of everything right now?
It's not that nobody's paying attention to other stuff. I think that a lot of people pay attention from the user perspective to other stuff. I would actually say even that, hey, if you want to have low attendance in your talk, then you say AI and you will see how much people care about it in our area.
I think they're getting tired of it for sure.
Not only tired, but I think that AI did not yet reach the adoption threshold amongst operations, I'm going to call it, SRE, DevOps. I think that it did not stick yet. Whether it will be or not, that's a different thing, right? In some other areas, like if you go to a marketing conference, I'm pretty sure that everybody in marketing now is using AI. Or if you go to pure developer application conference, you will see a lot of that, right? But our people are kind of, no, right? Doesn't work.
We care about safety and stability, and reliability.
Yeah. Because when Joe does it, it's safe.
Yeah.
How much was the push for AI, though, at the conference? Was it as big as it was last year? Because I think last year it was like, oh, it's the new bright shiny. Was it as bright and shiny still this year?
I don't know about talks, but in the expo, there was a lot of AI.
And it was in the keynotes, it was pretty heavily featured too. But this time it was more about like AI conformance and AI safety than it was about, the magic of it.
Once we realize that it's not really magic, but it's just really fast ETL, it doesn't matter anymore.
It's just a tool. But they are putting together a new working group, an AI conformance working group that's part of Kubernetes. And they're trying to establish rules so that your platform can be AI platform certified or some such thing.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to go sideways at all, is it?
It always produces great results. Amazing, yes.
Oh. I mean, it's been one thing to have SIGs around core things, and so, but SIGs around how people are actually making money. That definition of safety, it's like safety for Victor in Europe is very different than safety for me and Whitney that live in Texas, right? Because Texas, hey, as long as you ain't hurting anybody, you're good.
Wild West.
It's literally the Wild West. Still, I mean, okay, a little bit tongue in cheek, but there is I think, a great truth in that, because Europe in general is a lot more risk averse than the US.
That's absolutely true, yeah. Which can have both positive and negative, just to be clear. There are a lot of problems with that as well, but it's true, yes.
Yeah. The positive is you guys have more people show up conferences and US don't.
Alive.
Alive, yes. That's we'll keep going from there.
Also related, tangential to AI, I heard more about Spiffy and Spire in this conference than I have in a long time. Spiffy and Spire is being kind of touted as, they're the belle of the ball, if you will. Because with Spiffy Spire, you can automate workload identity for your AI workloads and then put policy in place about what it can and can't do in your system.
You have anything to say about that, Victor?
No, that's one of the big missing pieces, or mostly missing piece, right? Because, okay, one thing is capabilities of something, right? Oh, AI can do this or that. But then when we get to enterprises, there is a bunch of things that most people are really bored doing, but without which you cannot sell it. And security is definitely the top one, right?
How far do you think we're really at before we have good, solid enterprise AI workloads running on Kubernetes?
Like inference?
Yeah. Like 30, 40% normally accepted. Are we still a couple years away from that?
I think that most of it is Kubernetes. Right? Kubernetes is heavily used both to train models and for inference, because what else is there? Now, agents could be a different story, right? I think that logical is Kubernetes, but you can argue, hey, if there is Lambda-like feature in AWS and then kind of it gets up when I need it and goes down, yes. But inference, training, that's Kubernetes.
And a lot of work's already been done in terms of integrating GPUs into Kubernetes clusters and in terms of dynamic resource allocation. I don't know. I feel like it's getting there.
Yeah. And, I feel that actually the necessity of using something like Kubernetes, and Kubernetes is arguably the only player, is much bigger now than it was before. Because before, okay, so I have 5 servers that are right now not doing anything. Oh my, I'm not going to go bankrupt. And right now we have the whole warehouse of the size of big airport not doing anything right now. That's a problem, right? You need that dynamic allocation of, okay, you can do now this and that, moving around, distributing stuff.
Is it at the end of the day, we're just always going to have servers running somewhere in the back room, and that's it?
Servers are always there. The question is how you use servers. kind of what is the utilization of them, right? If you go back 20 years ago, you can easily come to conclusion, and I'm not exaggerating because I've seen those things, that like 20% of your server capacity is used on average, right? Really. And the goal is to get, 80%, 90%.
Let me phrase it this way, and I want to see how y'all react to this. For people that don't know how to code today, they're using AI to help code. Once you learn how to code, or once you have it coded, you can run it on Kubernetes. You've got a lot of waste in between those things. If enterprises, let's put it that way, if enterprises think that's going to be their answer, we're going to see a lot more enterprises wasting more money than they've ever wasted before. Versus what I think would work is, I'll give you my use case right now. My daughter has a project for me to do. This is not enterprise scale by any imagination. I'm working on the project. I'm doing it in Go and Rust because I need multi-platform, static binaries. I don't know how to write Go or Rust, but it's getting me there. I can read Go and Rust. But as I'm having it write, I'm learning how to read it. I'm learning to manually edit when I have to. Key point, when I have to. And then I'm initially probably going to run it on like Google Cloud Run, right? Just something like that. In theory, once I get it right, it'll probably run just fine on a single server with a single static binary because it's all it needs. So I'm talking about, if you think about it like a funnel, at the top, I'm using all this stuff, but at the end of the day, once I get down at the bottom of the funnel, I've got a nice, clean, deterministic everything else, and I don't need a big pool of things. Is that what we're going to come back full circle to that? Or are we headed back towards, I'm going to call it like microcomputers, like just this other side of mainframe in that cycle?
The question is really for what? Because I think that the attempts to have heavy workloads AI related are disappearing. And when I say heavy workloads, I mean training or inference. I think that that's going away because companies are realizing we cannot train our own models. We cannot do that, right? I mean, we can try, and then a couple of 100 million later, we'll realize we are still short. Kind of like, oh, we just put 100 million into this. We were under, we did not have even a fraction of the budget we need. What, should we put $1 trillion into it or billion, or should we just give up and they give up, right? So what you will be doing as a company is potentially is go down to the agent level. Right? Because basically, okay, so my models are trained somewhere else. Anthropic does it. It's running somewhere else. AWS does it, or Azure, whomever. And the only thing left for me is to create an agent, if I do that. And that's Google Cloud Run. You don't need anything special for that.
Okay. Sorry. I sent us down a really bad path. We should be talking about KubeCon. But to me, it feels like there was some consolidation this year. Not the consolidation of companies, but AI wasn't as big of a buzz, or at least not in the whiz-bang way. It was more standard, operational, I guess is the better way to say it, right? Of how we're going to deal with it from that perspective.
Yeah, securing, observing, and then the infrastructure underneath the bigger pieces.
In that statement,
yeah,
it almost feels like AI has now become boring.
I hope so.
No, absolutely not. No, 100%. No. Far from boring. I think that the problem is different. Problem is that we had quite a few attempts in the last couple of years in, let's say, cloud-native companies, to kind of put it in a box. Mm-hmm. We're doing something, and that failed miserably, simply because, okay, so just putting a wrapper around GPT, that's not something that people are going to buy, especially since most likely next quarter GPT will have that wrapper baked in. Kind of like, come on. Mm-hmm. Right? So quick hacks did not work. Thank God. Right? And now companies are trying to figure out, okay, so I know that I need to do something with AI. I don't know what, because I have no skills in my company. I'm talking about startups now, right? So 0 people experienced with it. An amazing competition. Like if you look at Cursor, kind of, that company did not exist a few years ago. And now it's bigger, that single company, than all the startups in our landscape combined. That's how big it is. And so we're trying to figure out what to do.
I see tremendous success with AI in terms of chatbots, like ChatGPT, or in terms of coding assistants.
Yes.
But I'm not seeing where it's making a big splash anywhere else. What am I missing?
So what you're missing is that who make those coding assistants? Companies that is not in our landscape, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, and now something amazing happened with AI that haven't happened in many, many years. And that's that you realize that actually developers can be buyers. Because developers were not buying anything for a long, long time, right? Kind of, who was in charge of that 10 million bill to AWS? Not developers, right? Who's buying this 500K a year license for whatever? Not developers, right? And AI vendors realize that developers are probably the first adopters, right? And they are. And I can sell it to them. And if I can sell to developers, why would they ever sell from the external perspective? Why would they even bother trying to sell to you people, ops? Because I actually did statistic this morning. On average, there is anything between 10 and 30 developers for every ops person, right? So kind of it's a minuscule market headwise if you're selling something per seat. It's a significant market, right? So they're not. It makes sense for a company like Anthropic to say, okay, so I'm going to target 90% of the company, not 10, and they're buying it. Before they were not buying it, so it doesn't matter who you target. They're buying it. So it needs to come from us in a way, or that kind of once you sell it to all developers, let's think about other people, right? And they're thinking about other people. Marketing is buying it. Salespeople are buying it. Just that it didn't trickle down to us, or it will come from us, hypothetical us, right? Now, the problem with hypothetical us is that if you're a small company, and I've seen that in my previous companies, you have three choices. Say, no, I'm going to continue my business as usual because that brings me some revenue today. I'm going to go full down and ignore the revenue today and go with all 50 developers I have, go into this new thing. That will kill me because I cannot survive a quarter without any revenue, no matter how insignificant that revenue is. And third option, which is what kills most of the companies, I'm going to go in both places. And then you cannot maintain the factory that is producing some revenue because you don't have enough people, and you put insignificant people in this new thing and don't build anything tangible.
So you're not presenting a good solution. Is everybody doomed?
No, it just takes time until it trickles down to us, or somebody will figure it out. I suspect that, and this is going to put me to trouble. I suspect that the innovation in this space will come from new companies, not from existing ones. That's what I suspect. Somebody who does not have a baggage from before, right? So there is no IP to protect. I'm just company that was seeded today. I'm seeded very well. I'm seeded more than Series C companies because everybody puts money into AI. And I'm going to do it from scratch. Because when you start from scratch, actually you go faster. It's counterintuitive because everybody thinks, oh, I have this thing that is already giving me a jump start, but very often it's not.
So basically we need to help make rules between AI, which is non-deterministic, and developers, which are non-deterministic. Like, how can we prevent bad things from happening? Like maximize output, maximize good output, let's say, and minimize disasters. Does that fall to ops?
Yeah, that falls to ops, creating some kind of rules. It's not all, two things. First, kind of how do you do the things you need to do without messing up everything? Because AI does not care about our internal company rules. And how do we teach it to do something tangible in a way that makes sense? The problem that I suspect is that the rules that we have in a typical enterprise company, the company you don't want to work in ever, are not going to cut it. And we're going to realize a couple of years from now. It's kind of, okay, so we have this heavy process that takes 3 days for something to reach production.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you put AI on it, it's still going to be 3 days because those 3 days is actually only 2 hours of actual work. You cannot make it faster without changing the rules. When you say, okay, so I spent 2 weeks on this, I spent a month on this, 3 days is not much. You can live with that, right? But now you have developers say, oh yeah, I just did it during the meeting.
Yeah.
So once the time that it takes, non-productive time, becomes actually larger than the time it actually took to do it, we will see trouble.
I've heard we shouldn't be looking for developer productivity, but development productivity, and more of the problem of our systems being able to take in so much code. Now that 30% more code's being generated, we need, as ops folks, need to figure out how to handle that extra input.
Correct. The problem is that very often ops cannot do anything. Right? Because
who does it fall to? Yeah.
Because ops are bound to rules made by somebody. Nobody knows when. Right? If you go to a typical enterprise, I dare you to find me ops and to be able to the person that will be able to explain to you why we do things this way. I dare you to find that person because it doesn't exist. Right? It's simply, we have to do it like this. I don't know why. And I spent my whole career making it work like this. I don't know why we do it like this, but we have to do it like that.
On these stone tablets that
exactly. It's
buried.
The only way you can find out why we are doing it like this is that if you bring the whole construction company to lift off the building where you're working to check the foundation, because it's buried somewhere there with dead bodies, right? Those reasons why we are doing it like that.
Which takes you back around to your point earlier, is that it's going to have to, real AI innovation will come from companies that are younger, that don't have these heavy processes in place.
Yeah, but true. Those are actually two separate things, right?
Oh, okay.
One thing is, how do you jump on a new wave without being completely stopped or slowed down by your existing IP? If you look at waves, whichever wave you want, let's say Kubernetes, right? How many companies you know, excluding big giants like AWS, how many companies you know that actually built something tangible, useful, good, that had a product before Kubernetes? This is a dare now. Either of you can answer.
Somebody who had something good before Kubernetes that still is around.
And no, that still is around. That I know examples, but you say, hey, this amazing X, service mesh, whatever, is a great solution for Kubernetes, and it was built by a company that is not giant,
Cloud
like
Foundry.
AWS. Cloud Foundry, that's giant. Come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is now. Yeah. I didn't know. Pivotal. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe they were already VMware before that happened, so...
Okay.
Right? It's always new companies emerge, new startups that go 100% for this. I'm going 100% Kubernetes, right? I'm not trying to fit my existing business into Kubernetes. I'm going 100% in, right? And you can see that all around, right? Unless it's a Microsoft, and then you say, I'm just going to put 1,000 engineers on it, and something will happen. I don't even know what's the subject. What did you ask, Darin?
What are we talking about?
Is it Christmas time yet? I can't remember. I've lost track. I can't think of a good company that ever did what you were trying to explain. Nobody. I mean, I really can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I'm sad because I was hoping to hear something that's like, dang, I really wish I would have been there. And I haven't heard one thing that y'all have said that
made you wish you were.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
It was good. I enjoyed it, to be honest. KubeCon was just as good as any other KubeCon, give or take. Parties were just as good as parties at KubeCon are. You know by the fact that I canceled the next day. It was a typical KubeCon, and I enjoy KubeCon. It's great.
What do you think Amsterdam is going to look like in, when is it, March, April timeframe?
Late March, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'll be bigger than this one. And I think, I think it's at the same venue it was at before, which was a really nice venue with natural light in the expo area and red carpet.
Natural light and red carpet. Okay, that's two very random things there, Whitney.
That's why it's easy to remember. I think Europe ones are generally more excited, like better attended, and therefore more exciting. And also just European cities are more walkable and there's more stuff to do right by the venues. So as a rule, I prefer the European KubeCons. Do
you think there's going to be any major pivots technology-wise between now and that end of March for Amsterdam? Or is Amsterdam just going to be Atlanta light?
It'll be Atlanta.
Atlanta heavy.
You think Atlanta heavy?
Yeah, it'll be bigger than Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
No, but as far as, what changes are going to be happening in basically the next 5 months, that's going to make it feel like, okay, I really should have been in Amsterdam.
Victor's predicting a slow and painful death of the CNCF ecosystem. So I think, according to Victor, that's what we have to look forward to.
Emphasis on slow, so you don't notice.
Okay. 1 project, 2 projects biting the dust, but then 10 more creeping up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so to me. All right, you stuck your neck out. I'm going to stick my neck out. It is now November 17th, 2025. By November 17th, 2035, 10 years, CNCF will no longer exist.
It will exist, but it will not be such a huge and profitable organization. It will be like Linux-like. Linux still exists, and Linux Foundation still exists, and we all use it, and we all need it, but we are not going necessarily in tens of thousands of people to conferences, right? Because it's simply there. It's boring. And that's fine. Boring tech is perfectly fine. It's not good for startups. You don't innovate on kernel. You're not seeing new operating systems popping up. In this conference, we just got 20 new operating systems.
It just feels very, very sad to me.
That something becomes boring. You're retired, man. You're supposed to be excited by being boring.
I know. I like boring, but also I need those stock market returns to still be very strong to help me carry me through my retirement.
So good news. All those that I predict that will disappear are not on the stock market yet. And will never be. So you haven't invested in any of them. No worries.
Okay, good. All right. So next up is Amsterdam. They've closed call for papers. That was like end of last month, I think, end of October.
That was day 0 call for papers, end of last month. They closed the KubeCon proper call for papers the month before, I think. Yeah.
Which is very confusing because
very early. Yeah.
I have muscle memory that tells me the first thing you do when you return from KubeCon is that then you submit for the next one. There's a process to it.
Yeah, and like being at KubeCon gives me ideas about things to submit. And then I would have those ideas and be like, oh, I guess not. I guess I'm not going to do that. So I feel like maybe we're missing out on, like we should be learning from each other first and then putting together talk ideas.
Instead of doing cold talk ideas.
Yeah. Exactly.
And KubeCon is where you find co-speakers kind of, couple of gin tonics or juices, whatever you're having. And you figure out the talk. That's how it works.
I did have people tell me that at the party you were trying to be co-speakers with anyone who came within 5 feet of you.
It's a blur, Whitney. It's a complete blur, bigger blur than my typical blur. It wasn't good. And I publicly apologize to everybody on that party for whatever I might or might not have done.
So one thing I've held off to the end here, somehow or another, Whitney, you as a CNCF ambassador were all over the place. And you were tagged along with a first-timer, right? You weren't going to... explain to me what happened there. Because I'm just curious.
CNCF has a new marketing team, and they asked if they could follow me around and make posts about what I'm doing. But then they didn't follow me around all that much. So I think it's just a couple of random posts. We'll see if they use more. As I was taking videos and stuff myself, I shared them with the CNCF internally, but they haven't posted anything. I think they didn't realize what a stone cold weirdo they choose to lift up. And they're like, oh God, what have we done? And they're hoping it goes away now.
Wait, you mean we actually have somebody that's providing content to us, and that means we have to work? Did I say that out loud? I'm retired. I can say what I want.
I imagine a meeting where they started with, hey, can we ask Victor? And somebody said, hell no, go for Whitney. She's nice.
Yeah, I seem sweet, but I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. I'm kind of persnickety.
What? No, not you. What do you wish you could have done that you didn't get to do?
I don't know. I pet the puppies. What else? That's the cherry on top. There are people who I meant to see who I didn't see. Maybe I should have scheduled that. But in terms of, I don't have any FOMO. I missed out on anything really. Do you, Victor?
No, not really. I mean, I always approach KubeCon. I give up on I need to see person X or Y. Whatever happens, happens. Whomever passes the same hallway at the same time is who we're going to meet.
I did my best where I'd arrive at 7 a.m. for platform coffee and be engaged all day until the party's at the end and then go home and sleep and do it again. So I did my best. No regrets.
Maybe Victor would have had less alcoholic beverages.
Oh, yeah. Do you wish that?
Maybe. I wish that for him.
I just peace out when it gets a little toasty.
We love you, Victor. Just lay off a little bit. If not for yourself, for us. Come on.
I don't remember doing anything bad.
Exactly. No. That's the problem. Enough said. Okay. So overall, Atlanta 2025, thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up?
Thumbs up. Okay. Predictions for Amsterdam. What do you think is going to be so tell me what the key theme was for Atlanta, and then tell me what you think the key theme is going to be for Amsterdam.
Atlanta, it was settling into the boring bits of AI, making it operationalizing AI. And then I'd say there was a healthy dose of platform engineering in there too.
Yeah.
I don't see why Amsterdam would be any different.
No. It will be the same.
It'll be the second chapter in the book.
Mm-hmm.
With a couple of gloss
working out even more granular details of how to do it consistently at scale.
Yep. Okay. Well, there you go. There's our review from the Atlanta 2025 KubeCon. If you got any comments, head over to the Slack workspace, look for the podcast channel, leave your comments there. Whitney, Victor, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
We hope this episode was helpful to you. If you want to discuss it or ask a question, please reach out to us. Our contact information and a link to the Slack workspace are at devopsparadox.com/contact. If you subscribe through Apple Podcast, be sure to leave us a review there. That helps other people discover this podcast. Go sign up right now at devopsparadox.com to receive an email whenever we drop the latest episode. Thank you for listening to DevOps Paradox.